They want Ten Hag. Yes, they do. They really do want Ten Hag. It's not United, but I'm going to go into detail of who actually does want, and he's going to wait as long as it takes to get Ten Hag. Lots of stories on that. An absolute ton of transfer news as well. But does the transfer news even matter with what is being discussed by the Premier League teams today? Yes, I like to go into detail, not just give you a title and a thumbnail and a story. I want to go into depth. You know what I'm like. I'm going to talk about the possibility of the first ever spending cap in the Premier League and what is being discussed. It's not a myth. It's not just being said just to appease certain people and make it look like we're trying. I'll tell you everything that's going on with that, plus everything else going on with Manchester United. Updates on the injury front, not looking good for Manchester United on that side of it. Again, are we surprised? I'm not going to blame Ten Hag on that one or training or anything like that, but yeah, another one to discuss and get through. And yeah, oh God, it's just like, can the season get any worse? We're going to talk about everything going on. Happy Monday, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Get in the live chat. Let me know what you think about all the topics today. Obviously, drop your comments in when the video was finished as well, guys. I'm Adam. This is Forever United TV. And today we're starting off with the stories regarding Erik Ten Hag. And it's not so much about Ten Hag and his future at Manchester United. It's what lies for Ten Hag if his future is away from Manchester United. And there is a host of suitors for Erik Ten Hag. Now, we spoke a little bit about this earlier on in the season regarding Ten Hag when it started to go a bit south and things were going a bit Pete Tong for him. We're talking about the opportunities that were there in Germany. Like, it is well known. This is just how it is. I was told 2 months ago that Erik Ten Hag would lose his job at Manchester United from a journalist. Quite in the know and well respected around the football club. I know that for certain, but he said he'd be gone anyway. INEOS have already made their mind up. It's just the way it goes. Ten Hag knows this. This is why the staff have not been have been replenished. As in, like when Ramsey go in, they didn't bring anyone else in. Like Murto was gone. Everyone who was good for Ten Hag at Manchester United in his time has gone. And no one else has come in. It's just all of INEOS' side and what they want. He didn't get money in January, and that was another sign. But yeah, he had offers from Germany. That's what I wanted to go back to. There is more offers right now. I'm going to get into what has actually been said first of all, so you guys know what I'm actually talking about. But on the Erik Ten Hag future side of things, Marcel van der Kraan, well-respected journalist in Holland, when he does say something, it does mean that it is happening. That's what you can take from that, because it is purely from the Dutch side, the Eredivisie side. Marcel van der Kraan was talking on TalkSport. He does a lot for all of Sky Sports around Europe as well, so you can take this as a definite, and this is 100% certain that Ajax technical director Alex Kroes has got Erik Ten Hag at the top of his wanted list. He is the man, and will wait for him until the end of May, because by June 1st they have to appoint a manager or make a decision. Kind of them waiting and knowing exactly what is going on at Manchester United and that cup final date. And if things go wrong against City, it's decision time, and Ajax are ready to pounce. He also goes on to say Erik Ten Hag knows about Ajax and their interest. He knows there's an open door at Ajax, and he can come back to be a manager of them next season and try to win a title there again. Coming from the management side of things, I want to talk a little bit more about the German side from Thomas Tuchel as well in a moment. But let's get back into Ten Hag and what we are missing here. Like, Ajax want him back. They will do anything to get him back, and will wait as long as they possibly can to get Ten Hag in again. Like, I feel like Ten Hag has known this for a while. And I personally, and this is just my opinion on this, and we've talked about this quite a bit on the channel regarding Ten Hag's demeanour and the way he's handling a lot of things at the moment at Manchester United. I feel like he's in a position now where he knows his future. They're just the little signs that I'm taking from it. I'm not saying this is a definite, this is a gospel, or it's a 100% cert. I'm just saying, from what I'm watching and what I'm seeing, I think that this is a clear sign that Ten Hag already knows his fate. And I think he's just putting it out there and just reminding people, like, Manchester United came in for me. They seen the quality that I had at Ajax. They seen what I was doing there and the style of football, and this is why they brought me to Manchester United. Yesterday, we were talking about what Ten Hag was doing and what he has claimed to accomplish with his role at the club in bringing the youth players through at Manchester United, something that is very, very big at Ajax. Then he started talking the week before that about his last 10 years as a manager, his experience then, and obviously his last 4 years and 4 cup finals, 2 years of Manchester United and 2 cup finals, bigging himself up, basically his audition to make sure that someone else came in for him and he had a job going into next season. Whichever way you look at it, Ten Hag will be managing a top side in Europe come next season. Now, what you class as top, I don't know. Manchester United finishing 7th or 8th. Can you even class that as top right now because we're not even in Europe? If he goes back to Ajax, obviously back in to European competitions, and could probably do well in the Eredivisie again and turn Ajax around from probably one of their worst seasons in their history. So, looking at everything that's been written, looking at all of the rumours coming out, like I said from the journalist telling me 2 months ago that Ten Hag is done, you look at it and go, well, I think he actually knows now. Like, I think the decisions would have been made. I think everyone will be just preparing themselves for the actual announcement, which is going to come. Now, I've said before, look, you cannot, if Ten Hag gets into top 6, or if he wins the FA Cup, it doesn't matter which way, because we're into the Europa League if we beat Manchester City. So he's in the Europa League, and that obviously is an avenue in to the Champions League next season. Does this change anything? And I want your opinions on this. So we've already a lot of the fan base have written Ten Hag off, and that's their own views, and they're welcome to them opinions. I'm the same. I just don't think he's going to be able to turn this around, and I don't see him beating Manchester City. Not with the team that we've got, the way we're playing, and the availability of certain individual players that can actually get us something out of a game, which is pretty much the whole philosophy of Manchester United under Erik Ten Hag. I don't care what anyone says. So you look at it, he finishes 6th, or he wins the FA Cup. He's won 2 trophies in his first 2 seasons, back-to-back domestic cup trophies. He's in the Europa League. The exodus of players that's going to happen this summer under INEOS, there's no guarantee, and this is what I'm going to bring the next part of the show into as well with regarding the news and what's happening with the Premier League meeting today. But all of the players that are leaving, and we know there's going to be quite a lot, we're going to be happy about that, but we are not going to be able to bring in direct replacements straight away of the quality, which is going to be good enough to get into the top 4. So is the Europa League and that possibility of getting back into the Champions League next season through the Europa League going to be enough for INEOS to go, maybe there's something there that we can cling on to? 2 trophies, United winning. Like, we're going to be in the Community Shield as well next season. There's a chance to start there fresh. INEOS' first season, first game, chance to pick up a trophy there. Like, does the FA Cup have a lot more riding on it for Ten Hag, or do you feel like this is just done and dusted? Like what I was told, Ten Hag is gone. It doesn't matter what happens. It's not just one journalist. Honestly, when I say this, and I'm not lying to you, just in general conversation with people around Manchester United and the people that report on them day in, day out, every single week, there's 3 or 4 of them that have said, it's done. It's finished. He's gone. It doesn't matter if he wins the FA Cup even. Now, you cannot ignore 2 cups in a row, though. Like, it's going to be a hard sack. Like, where are INEOS at? Are they celebrating the fact that we are winning the FA Cup? Or are they going to be like, oof, this makes our job difficult now? We're still going to get rid of him, even if he wins the FA Cup, because being out of the Champions League is not good enough. It's a difficult one. And what I want to gauge from you guys is in the chat, and get your comments in below, is winning the FA Cup enough for Ten Hag to go back to INEOS and say, there, look, I can do something. 2 cups, 2 seasons, back me, give me the structure, get rid of the players that are causing issues, and we'll see from next season. Now, we totally went the opposite way last night, and I'm not contradicting myself or trying to go back on it or just mixing everyone's minds up about this deliberately. I'm not, I promise. We have to sort of balance everything out, and this is what we want on Forever United TV. We want balance. We want the argument from both sides. And I look at it and go, FA Cup, and my own opinion, I'm just going to say it now, I'm only bringing this up because I want to gauge your guys' thoughts on this, is the FA Cup makes it difficult for me for INEOS if they beat them. If they beat Manchester City, they automatically then go into the Community Shield to play either City or Arsenal. Can you imagine if Ten Hag is in situ and he's won every single domestic cup apart from the Premier League in his first 2 seasons at the football club, obviously the Charity Shield is, if it's a trophy or a trophy, it doesn't matter. But you will have Ten Hag's picture and then every domestic trophy, barring the Premier League, underneath him while at Manchester United. Is that enough to convince people that with the chaos and everything going on that he's dealing with, that's enough for him to get another contract at Manchester United? Or have you just seen enough with the playing style and you think it's purely luck? I'm going into the chat right now to talk about this, so get your comments coming in, guys. I've seen you all commenting already and discussing the topic as well, so thank you for your comments. Please give the video a like as well, guys. We need to get to that 100 mark pretty sharpish. Come on, mods, get on it, please. Samir, thanks for the super chat. He says, we keep blaming the chef. Chief, God, Adam. We keep blaming the chef when it's clear he has he has contaminated ingredients to work with. I like that one. Need Gordon Ramsay to sort it out, then let the manager cook. Well, this is the thing. It's like, if you gave the best chef in the world all the best ingredients, Pep Guardiola, Klopp, Ancelotti, which is the case, you get success. You get Michelin star restaurants. That's what it is. If you gave all the best ingredients to a not-so-good chef, say someone on MasterChef or something like that, analogy crazy this morning, sorry, I don't know why it's food-related, maybe because we've just eaten, and Samir tempted me into it with a super chat, I'm sorry. But, yeah, if you gave a not-so-good chef all the best ingredients, are you not wasting your money in getting the best produce and giving it to him and then not getting the exact quality you need out of the end result? That's where we've got to look at it as well. I understand giving better ingredients and let him work, but is he good enough anyway to handle them? Because there's no proof that he is. And obviously everyone has to start somewhere, but as a football club, are we prepared to risk another 2 or 3 years for a man to try and find his way in football management? That's the question you've got to pose. Can we afford to give Ten Hag another chance? That's where Manchester United are at, and that's why this summer is so difficult to make that decision, and why INEOS are in. And I'm really happy that they're in situ, because they're not afraid to make the big calls. And that, I think, is the most difficult part about the Ten Hag situation. I quickly just wanted to go into some more snippets from the Erik Ten Hag bit, and some more from the Dutch side of things. Dutch journalist, when asked on Erik Ten Hag interested in his return to Ajax, I think so, otherwise you won't keep him on your shortlist. So we're talking there communication has been had between Ajax and Erik Ten Hag, so there is interest, according to Dutch journalists, that Ten Hag would like to go back to Ajax. The information we have is that Graham Potter is not number one at Ajax. Ajax want Erik Ten Hag, and Alex Kroos also wants to wait for that. It's kind of a poker game, but Ten Hag is definitely the number one option. So Potter is definitely in the frame. I knew this the other day. I think I was talking to people outside Old Trafford about Potter, and it was a case of he's there, he's gone over there, he's had talks, but more and more light has come to, it's more and more information has come out, and there's been a lot more talks regarding Ten Hag and his interest in Ajax if things do carry on going the way they are going right now. So that's pretty much all of the Dutch side of things and how they're reporting Erik Ten Hag at the moment. Zao with a super chat. Dude from South Africa, stop firing managers. We need to stop it. Players first, mate. Players and managers are going, Zao. Thank you for that super chat. Just to clear this up, for everyone who's worried about players not leaving if Ten Hag does stay, just think about it from this side of things. If Ten Hag stays, he's going to want to keep some of the players that we don't want because he's bigged them up constantly. He's going to keep Antony. He's going to keep Maguire, McTominay, Rashford, these players that a lot of fans are moaning about. So just because Ten Hag is leaving doesn't necessarily mean these players are also going to be staying. They're going as well. And I said this the other day, this is why it's different. So you need to understand that the contract situation And the money that United spend is the main reason why a lot of players will not leave Manchester United. And that's all going to change. So over the next 2 years, you're going to see a lot of players leave Manchester United. So, yeah, just let that... I understand the argument, like, stop sacking managers, give managers time. But, yeah, it is a case of just look at it from INEOS' side. They're not going to want the manager or the player if they're underperforming. Mark Lambridge with another super chat. Thank you, Mark. Different point of view. If we turn up and beat City in the cup final, I would be asking where has this performance been all season? Bonus for a cup win. It's a fair point, Mark. I get that totally. Like, why are we turning up for the big games? I mean, you look at the top 7 table, by the way, guys. United at the bottom of it. I think we've won 1 game, and that was against Chelsea. They've actually changed it from a top 6, the top 6 so-called big 6 in the league, to big 7 now, and put Newcastle in there as well. No disrespect to Newcastle, but I think they're only doing it to scrape Manchester United in because we're rock bottom. We haven't beaten anyone in the top 7, or you could say out of the so-called big teams, and that's a disrespect to Aston Villa as well because they're sitting in 4th rightfully. So in terms of the big 7 and what they're saying, and this is probably an agenda-driven to say that Man United are crap as well because they're not involving Villa. I think Villa should be in there if Villa are in there. Villa should be in there if Newcastle are in there, I should say. So, yeah, it's a case of, look, Manchester United have beaten Villa twice. City haven't. Arsenal haven't. Arsenal lost twice to Aston Villa. And we beat Villa twice. Why are United turning up for certain games and not others? I think that's the point that Mark's getting there with the super chats. Jonathan Dayton, I hope you're doing well, Jonathan. Adam, I know you hate me bringing up injuries, but we have not even had 4 fit defenders in the last 2 games. I know, mate. I know. But like we talked about outside Old Trafford, if it wasn't for a complete player mentality breakdown, Manchester United would have beaten Burnley, and we would have beaten Burnley with a clean sheet. Now, while anyone has gone on about, well, these injuries have happened. I'm not having a go at you, Jonathan, here, by the way. I'm just bringing up the whole subject. All anyone has talked about, well, these injuries have happened, is look at Onana, he's still up there with the golden glove for clean sheets and everything. Yeah, that's with the injuries as well. We've had more than adequate defenders available in games that we have been beaten in. Like, we're looking at, everyone's talking about the 12 games and what we've lost this season. Like, Martinez and Varane have been available for quite a few of them at the start of the season. Let's not forget that as well. Like, he had Varane on the bench, he's had Lindelof on the bench, he's chose Johnny Evans and Maguire in certain games. Let's not forget, against Manchester City, when we lost that game as well, by the way, he had Varane and Lindelof on the bench. And no one talks about that. Like, no one talks about the games that we won when we had fit, full international defenders playing for us. No one wants to bring that up because everyone wants to find an excuse with the injuries. Yeah, I understand injuries are a pain in the ass and consistency is really affected by it. It is. It's abnormal. But still, I think we have got more than enough to be at least in the top 4 this season. And like I said before, it's like you then bring in the capabilities of Ten Hag and man management. Because if a manager is saying, I'm moaning about injuries all the time, then how the hell are you as a player who is in playing at the moment, who is fit, wearing that United shirt, where is your head at when you hear your manager constantly saying, look, we will be better. Our Manchester United can only compete when we've got all of our fit players back. Does that then tell you in your head as a player that you're not good enough to be here? He doesn't balance it well enough for me. And I think that's just a bit of experience, which I think with this being the first big club that and big job that he's done, he will learn from this if he's sacked or if he survives this season, Erik Ten Hag. But I think this will be a massive learning curve. How did Arteta end up at City first before United? I think be different. I don't know what you mean, mate, by that. How did Arteta end up at City? I mean, he was recruited by Pep. He did go from Everton to City as a coaching role. I think he did, actually. I'm sure he retired at Everton, didn't he, Arteta? So Jin says, we knew there'd be problems with injuries when the outgoings didn't match the incomings in the summer. To be honest, in terms of the injuries, like it has been over the top. We've been massively unlucky with that. I'm just going to make that point. Like, I'm not ignoring injuries. We do have an issue this season in particular. It has been horrendous for the football club. We're just about to hit that 100 like mark, guys. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I'm going to get into a few more of your comments now, guys. I'm stuck. I'm suck of excuses. Probably means I'm sick of excuses. Boxing Straight Talk. Don't worry about the typo. I do it every day. I just don't want to hear them. 420 million. You should have purchased adequate backup. Ten Hag. We had Shaw, Martinez, and most of our players available for the first 5 opening games of the season, and we still suffered 3 defeats out of 5. Ferocious, that's the point I was sort of making there. Like, it doesn't help having injured players, but let's just put it in perspective. Like, it wasn't for all of these defeats. And let's not forget, we beat Villa twice this season in the middle of all of this injury carnage and mess. We've won other games. Like, Liverpool struggled to beat Everton this season. And do you know what I mean? We beat an Everton easily twice, like, this season. You know where I'm going with it? It's just like, there isn't a problem, and Manchester United are playing fantastic when we win. That's the word that comes out of the press conferences from Ten Hag. When we lose, it always seems to be the same excuse. Like, injuries, consistency, the process, it only works when everyone's fit, and you can't progress. It's always the same, and that's what's really annoying with Erik Ten Hag. Christopher Hooper says, Eric got more records than any other manager in United history, but they are all the wrong ones. Wake up. Prashant says, Ten Hag is using injury excuses from this year, maybe to save his job. Last year, we had many injuries as well. Yes, we did. So early for your show, Adam, here in Minnesota. Hag style play equals no style of play. Thank you for that, Adam. Glad to have you up, mate. That's commitment right there. Amrabat has been a massive disappointment. Bring him on to short up the game, and it does not work. Came on Saturday, first thing he did was fall over. Do you know what, Jonathan? I remember that moment, actually. It's like, God, okay. Amrabat so much he does fall on his ass and barely broke from it. There has been disappointments in signings. Signings you brought in that were going to cover certain areas. Like, for instance, this summer, Amrabat and Mason Mount, Andre Onana, Rasmus Højlund. You're looking at them 4. They were our main signings that came in to be first-team squad players. Like, Onana, it's a 50-50. The jury's out. Mount, massive disappointment because of injuries. Amrabat, massive disappointment because we thought he could be that holding midfielder to help replace Casemiro, but he has fallen so far short. It's like not one Man United fan wants him to stay at the football club that I've spoken to. And then you've got Rasmus Højlund, a young centre-forward who needed more help than he's got. He was still managed to score 14 goals this season. Let's not forget. Like, Manchester United are ranked, I can't remember what it was. In terms of the Premier League, we're in the bottom half for the amount of crosses put into a box. I was talking about stats last night and the style of play. The style of play doesn't help any centre-forward unless it's a centre-forward over the top who can actually get in behind the lines, basically. Like, crosses, a proper 6-yard box centre-forward like Rasmus Højlund is. The pace, the quickness of playing how Manchester United play doesn't suit him, I don't think. He's got a lot to learn with holding the ball up. He's been figured out quite easily this season by a lot of defences. That's not me having a go at him, but it is going to be a struggle for him going forward at Manchester United. He has got a lot to learn, but if Manchester United have recruited right, then we may have had another striker alongside him. Like, you'd hope that you would have had experience at the club for a 20-year-old to come in and learn from. This shows you how bad Manchester United are and what our recruitment has been like, that you've brought in Rasmus Højlund with no one there for him to learn off. Like, think of the strikers that United have had over the years that have been there to help younger forwards coming through. We've got none for Rasmus Højlund. The most senior player that he's got to look up to is Marcus Rashford. Say no more. He's seen, in his first year, the ill discipline of 2 massive senior players in Sancho and Marcus Rashford. The attitude of Martial. Like, Rasmus Højlund's playing with a chronic back injury every single week. Like, that could go any time. And you look at Martial, you look at Rashford, you look at Sancho. Like, what the hell is this lad supposed to do? Like, who is he learning from? This is what he's been brought into, and this is where the structure and the full preparation of a recruitment system works unfortunately for Rasmus Højlund, he's coming to Manchester United at the wrong time. And this is the fear I had when I was talking last night about the younger players and coming through at the wrong time as well. That's the massive concern right now. But hopefully INEOS can turn this around and we will get the best out of all these good young players that we've got at the football club right now. Super chat from Zara again. Thank you, buddy. I believe in Ten Hag. We haven't had a bench since Jose. Please get behind him. We need a concrete manager. Ten Hag seems to care about us. We are all united. Zara is really pushing out the Ten Hag one this morning. MDRN, Modern Samurai, hello mates, hope you're doing well. What time is it where you are, buddy, as well? I know you've probably just woken up. Malacia was abducted by aliens. You forgot about that as well. Like, Malacia have been a big miss. Obviously sending Reguilon back as well, another mistake from the football club. A lot of mistakes that are just not Ten Hag's as well. We need to put that in there and balance that out. Patrick Malone says, thought Benny McCarthy was supposed to be helping our young strikers. Yeah, it looks like he is going to be leaving as well this summer. No more role for him either, apparently. And Henry Long says, hi Adam, I see we are going back on the merry-go-round. It won't work sacking manager. Certain players have one ambition because they don't like the manager. The club should have got rid of them, Adam. Honestly, mate, that's not the case. I am fully behind. If INEOS want to get rid of Ten Hag because there's better out there, go for it. I don't think they're going to let the players off, though, if that happens. I think it's totally different this time. And we can see that in how Manchester United are not renewing contracts. Like, there's no word about Scott McTominay yet. Like, he's entering his last year next year. So is Harry Maguire. Like, there is other news, like you can see it on the bottom of your screen there from Samuel Lucas regarding transfers. We'll talk a bit more about that. But I remember, Zaka, I said this about 3 months ago, that Manchester United renewed his contract simply because they want to try and get a fee for him this summer before he leaves next year on a free transfer. He's not going to get a new deal at United. They're either going to go for free or United are going to scrape something together this summer. So these old players that everyone is complaining about, it isn't going to be the same. It really isn't. So I don't think we can look at it that way. I mean, everyone's got an opinion about it, but I just know that that's how Manchester United are working it right now. And if them contracts are not on the table, then something has to happen. It more than likely will be that they will be leaving the football club. Into the next bit of news I wanted to talk about, and the possible spending cap. Now, you're all thinking spending cap, my ass, that's never going to happen with everything that's going on. Now, I spoke to you a couple of weeks ago about the Premier League meeting and unanimously, tongue twister for me, that one, unanimously voting on new financial fair play rules for the Premier League. So the new PSR rules would be a certain percentage is allowed to be spent of the club's turnover, only a certain amount on wages, player agent fees and player transfer fees. So you can spend possibly, the rumour was, up to 80% of that, which gives more freedom to the Premier League clubs who are trying to balance financial fair play, like the struggles of Forest and Everton and other clubs this season as well. Wolves just scraping by that as well. So that is coming in. But the smaller clubs today have, not today have kicked off, but the discussion has been, and the vote is going to be today, and we'll probably touch on this later on this evening as well, that Premier League clubs are now looking to vote on a spending cap within them new PSR rules that are going to come in 2025-26. So the transition year is next season. So some of the same rules apply. It's supposedly going to be lightened up a little bit in terms of the rules. But the 25-26 season is when the new PSR rules will come in, which is spending a big chunk of your revenue if you want to, which is where United get the advantage. So what the smaller clubs have said is, like, look, that's not fair because they can spend more money than us because they earn more money than us. And that's protecting the top 6/7 again. So what they want to bring in is a rule where there is a cap that these clubs can spend, but only spend in equivalent to what the clubs at the bottom of the table are getting for TV revenue money. Now, TV revenue money is quite a lot, but still nowhere near where the bigger clubs would want to be spending. So that is being discussed today. And obviously we know with the Premier League, I think it's a 14 to 6 is a majority when it comes to the vote. So now you've got 7 big clubs. Will this vote pass off? I personally don't think it will, and it'll be back to the table with that again in terms of a spending cap. But that's what's looking to happen. If that comes off, it does hamper Manchester United. Some people may look at it and go, that actually works, because it means that INEOS are in a market and United are not going to be overspending on certain things. And if everyone in world football knows that the Premier League has got this cap, they cannot boost up the prices. The clubs are just going to say, look, we're under new rules. Sorry, we can't spend this much. That's what's going to happen. So it could be a benefit to United as well. The clubs around Europe will know that all English clubs cannot be taken for a ride anymore. They can't be ripped off because they've got loads and loads of money. We are trying to govern ourselves right now. The Premier League are looking, before the independent regulator comes in, they are trying to prove to the government that they can govern themselves and look after themselves. This is all of what this is. It all came down to the new deal where the Premier League were giving a certain amount of money to the EPL, and it was then filtered down the pyramid. They don't want to do that until they're safe themselves, the Premier League clubs. So the new PSR rules came in first, which a lot are happy with because it gives them more freedom. But some of the teams at the bottom are actually saying, well, no, yeah, that's good, but we want to put this rule in as well, which is the one that they're discussing today to try and cap everything off. More to come on that, and obviously more complications along the way with that. But just so you guys know where that is actually at, and the understanding of it is that it's better for United. And actually, it probably isn't as bad if there is a spending cap, because it will mean that they can just say to any agent, any player, look, you want to play for United, it's because you want to play for United. And ultimately, I feel like United will have an advantage because we have a great academy. We can start producing our own talent through that as an advantage to what other clubs have got. And United are the biggest club in the world. We have more supporters and a bigger fan base than anyone. And players will then be attracted to England for the right reasons, not just a payday. And that, I think, will help Manchester United as well. So, yeah, obviously, if we get the right players in and we don't go out and get... Well, we're not going to, because the recruitment should be right. You know where I'm going, trying to piece everything together and it doesn't look as bad. Like, I'm spinning a positive. Yes, the P word. Positive. Not always negative. Positive, people. I try. But I do like to get into detail on that sort of thing and know where we are with it. It's something geekish of me that I like to know about, and that's probably the biggest story for me today. Forget about your Ten Hag stuff, but me actually listening and reading on that, I think that's more interesting than what everyone should be in. But I understand bigger headlines are what attract attention for a lot of people, and it's all about what players are coming in, who's being sacked, who's leaving, but it all comes under the same bracket, and I think I would say it's a positive. I'm going to go positive, yes. Mark Lambridge, Super Chat. Thanks, Mark. Too many fans wanting to blame on one thing when our season has just been a problem everywhere. True. Sometimes standing still is the best option to judge. Yeah, look back at the whole thing. Tom Porter there says, please subscribe if you are new. The channel is on the way we're on the road to 44k. We are moving fast, guys. We're already well into the 43,000s. Please subscribe if you're tuning for the first time, and like the man says, please like. We're already over 150, just shy of 600 in the room with us. Thanks for all the super chats and new members today as well. Paul Bridgate, welcome to the members club, Paul. Thank you so much for joining the FUTV army. Please stay tuned to all of the updates on the community tab and the members only videos that come out for any extras for you guys. There is plenty coming up. Domingo OT, I'm not convinced about Tuchel, but he'd be better than Potter or Southgate. Yes, he was. The ferocious big clubs shouldn't be held back by what lower clubs earn through TV money. That's their problem. They'll look at it differently, won't they? Will the spending cap bring up Super League again? Possibly. It possibly will. It's like the reason this is all happening, guys, is because of the government enforcing the independent regulator. The Premier League don't want to be run by the government. Everyone thinks it's right. Everyone thinks this will stop foreign owners coming in, the American ownership model coming in and everything like that. Yeah, it's good and it's bad depending on what your club is. It's like, I think Manchester United could have done with this coming in before the Glazers took over, but we were the ones, I think, Manchester United are the ones that have pushed things like this to actually happen because of what's happened to the football club and the clear demise and how we have just fallen away completely. Like, there has been stupid mistakes and we have spent a lot of money, but let's not forget what the Glazers did to get Manchester United. That's what they don't want anymore. And that is right. Matt says, that makes no sense because the lower the team in the league, the less prem tax on player for them. So 100 million spent by a promoted team will go further than if City spend it. Matt, there's loads of different ways you can look at it. But the whole thing comes down to the lower teams are looking like the top six. They feel like the top six are being overprotected. And I think that's the big issue. Adam McTominay out for 6 months, no sale. Has that news just come out? I just need to double check that, guys. Bear with me a second. I don't know if that has just broke or if he is out. There are rumours that it is not looking good for Scott McTominay, by the way, guys. I've not seen anything just yet that's saying it. But yeah, there are rumours coming out that he is out for a long time. So, yeah. That would pretty much screw any future sale for Scott McTominay up this summer. I don't think he was going anyway, personally. I've said that all along. We have a few super chats and members to get through, guys. Thank you. Third super of the day from Zah. Thank you, buddy. Do you think we have any chance if we keep firing managers? I have been watching for years in South Africa. It's so hard to see my team like this. We need a foundation. It's all about getting the right manager and then backing him. Do we think that Erik is right to start this project at INEOS? I've said this before. Not that Erik Ten Hag is a bad manager. If Erik Ten Hag was coming in now, I think he would have been the perfect manager. The problem you've got with Ten Hag is the amount of water that's gone under the bridge and the feeling within the fan base or section of the fan base with him right now and the way that the teeth of the media are already dug well into him. I think that's where the problem is. We're dealing with the now and not what Manchester United have been like over the last 10 years because the now is a little bit different because of INEOS. And this is why this conversation's happening. It feels like a reset's happening now, and this is why it's not the same as it was before. Hopefully that makes sense as well. But cheers for the super chat, Zah. Adam, do you think if this was Erik Ten Hag's first season, we would be more accepting of this mess? We massively overachieved last season. Matt, I didn't even read that, and that was what I was just saying from the last super chat flash. But yeah, I do. I think it would have been different if it was like his first or his just started his second year. And do you know what's not helped Ten Hag is that the Sancho situation and how he handled that. I think he was right in what he did. Some people didn't, but it's mixed opinions. And I think Rashford fell off from that moment as well, with one of his best mates actually going down the way he did. And I just think there is the way he's done things and handled things and what he's said and changed his mind on and clearly gone down a different route. I think that's what's sticking for Ten Hag right now. Another super chat from Modern Samurai. If the show was crap, who do we blame? We blame you. If our team is crap, Erik Ten Hag is responsible. It's that simple. Managers manage well or go. The man at the top is always the one. The manager handles any circumstance that happens within a season or anything within any business, you could say. MDRM, Modern Samurai, has just gifted another 5 memberships as well as that super chat. Thank you, buddy. Really appreciate that. Them new members are Verbal Kint, The Flute, FCMU, KT55 and Nick S. Welcome to the members club, guys. Fantastic to have you on board, and the ever-growing FUTV army continues marching on. Right, into other news quickly. Just wanted to touch on, before I hit the transfer speculation, I'll get your thoughts on this, guys, as well. But the news from the German side I wanted to talk about from Thomas Tuchel is that, obviously, well-connected Christian Folk to all of the Bundesliga, especially Bayern Munich, has come out and said, regarding Thomas Tuchel, the petition, did you guys see the petition from the Bayern fans to keep Tuchel? Now that's interesting on its own, but Tuchel's mind is made up. And Christian Folk was talking about this. Tuchel wants to go to the island. That's cryptic for wants to go to England, because there's only one island in Europe with a reputable league, you could say. I'm not going into geography and all that, but let's just say we are the only island in Europe which has a reputable or a higher standing league. Let's just put it that way. I don't want to get myself in trouble there. But yeah, Tuchel wants to go to the island. He's hotly tipped at Manchester United. This just keeps growing and growing and growing, and Tuchel's name is going to keep on coming up. Someone laughed in a comment. Like, this is what winds me up a lot with people a lot of the time on YouTube. Like, it's clear. You all know I do my research. You all know I look into things in depth. I add context to every story and title that we put up on here. It's not just simple, straightforward, clickbait headlines all the time. Like, someone said to me in a comment recently, like, what are you talking about? Serial winner. Like, are you serious when you come back with that? He has won a major trophy at every single club he's been at. What more do you need as proof of serial winning? He has won the biggest trophy there is, the Champions League. He has won titles at every single club he's been at. Big trophies, upwards of 10 of them. Like, let's not forget what this man has done. Like, and you've surely all seen the video of Peter Schmeichel being baited in by Richard Keys and Andy Gray on BN Sports, talking about Tuchel. Like, when Schmeichel said it, I've said this all along. Everyone who asks me about Tuchel is, and I've said the same thing. And do you know what? Funnily enough, I listened to Flex was talking about this the other day as well, because I know he has spoken to him. I've been in a press conference like myself with Thomas Tuchel, and that was, he convinces you. He has this aura about him where you just go, wow, yeah, he knows what he's talking about. He convinces you that he is the right man. He just, the way he talks and the way he describes things and goes into detail, like his knowledge, trust me on this, like, it's hard to describe, because unless you're with him in a room and you're talking, and I had the privilege, and this is why I'm not just convinced by this alone, like, I've seen what he's won and I've been there in close proximity with him. I've seen a manager there that has been announced as going at the end of the season by a club, and the team carry on to a point where they're now in the Champions League semi-final and they're playing for him. That team is still playing for him. So that, to me, tells me that that man demands respect, and he gets respect. His stock, I think, has got higher since Bayern Munich decided to announce he's leaving and then tried to get Nagelsmann back. And Nagelsmann has said no, and now they're stuck with Tuchel saying, no, I'm still going. So, yeah, it's like Zara says there in the Super Chat. Thomas Tuchel is no upgrade, please no. It's complete ludicrous there. I appreciate the chat and everyone's got their opinion, but for someone to tell me that it's not an upgrade on Ten Hag is complete nonsense, in my opinion, because he has won everything there is to win. And what will United fans say who don't rate Thomas Tuchel if he wins the Champions League this season? I know it's an if, and I know he has to go out and win it first of all, but hey, still, look at what he has won. Look at what players say about him. Look at what the Bayern Munich fans are saying now. Like, please don't go. Like, there's a club that's telling you something right there. And that, for me, like, everyone's judging Tuchel on, like, the mess that he's made at certain clubs. Well, sorry, PSG, Chelsea, are you really going to bring them into properly run football clubs? Bayern Munich have pretty much dropped themselves right in it right now. We're trying to bring Nagelsmann back. So that tells you that their hierarchy and the way that that club is run is not quite the norm either. And no one really survives it. Like, Pep couldn't manage it. He couldn't handle the way it is. Some people say that Pep Guardiola tried to change German football and that's why he was kicked out. So this is a serial winner in Pep Guardiola who was kicked out because they didn't like the way that he was playing. There's a lot more to it. And you know what? Manchester United will go far, a lot further, if Thomas Tuchel was the manager. I'm saying that right now. That is my opinion. Everyone else totally welcome to it. If you don't think Tuchel is right, I understand where you're coming from. I do. I'm not saying you're wrong at all. I just know that for me, he's definitely better than Ten Hag. Thomas Tuchel record is really good, but he has fallen out with every board he has played under, and that is what sacks him. PSG, Chelsea, Bayern. Mark, listen to what I'm saying. That's why you're not dealing with normal football clubs here. Look at what he did at Dortmund. Went to the next better thing. There's where we're at. We're at a Dortmund level right now. That's where Manchester United are at. We're trying to rebuild. We're not the biggest fish in the pond anymore. Not in the Premier League anyway. And that's on the pitch. You can talk about everything else, fair enough. But as football, no, we're not. So I look at it and go, let's just look at the other side. I understand everyone's arguments and worries. But has Ten Hag not fallen out with anyone? I'm sorry, look at Jose. Did he not fall out with anyone? Pep Guardiola? Has he not fallen out with people at Bayern Munich as well? Like, the only reason Pep Guardiola is successful is because he's allowed to get everything that he wants. So who is better? Real Madrid got rid of Ancelotti before. They brought him back. Are we going to say that Ancelotti's not a good manager because they got rid of him as well? Look, we have to look at it and what they've won and what they've achieved at times. Managers' times at football clubs now are short-lived. Like, INEOS are building on something. INEOS need a man that's going to carry out their philosophy and their style and what they want and their hard hand in the dressing room. I don't think you're going to get that with Ten Hag. I think he's lost it. And that's why I think he will go. Manchester United will do well if we get Thomas Tuchel. I will be happy if United get Thomas Tuchel, personally. Like Luke says there, I would only take Zidane. But we aren't a properly run football club yet, in capitals, says Raul. Rail, is that how you say that? Rail Middleton. And considering we hear that INEOS want more of a coach, Tuchel likes to control, doesn't suit INEOS. I mean, do we know that Tuchel likes to control, or is it just because he doesn't get a say on certain players coming in? Like, he knows he's not going to come in to run Manchester United. INEOS will make this clear. And if he comes in on this role of getting the best out of the players, then you don't know. We don't know. Like, nobody knows how well a manager's going to do until he's in. We don't know how well a player's going to do until he steps foot on that Old Trafford turf or puts that shirt on. We have bought many of players that we thought were the best. We've bought managers in that we thought were going to be the right fit. All I'm saying is, let's just look at what the qualities of a manager is instead of the negatives, and look at it from there as well and balance it out a little bit. Another super chat in from Modern Samurai. Go Eagles, Utrecht, Ajax, United. I would rather go with someone who has been at Dortmund, PSG, Chelsea, Bayern and won. Tuchel's CV is loads better. MDRN, Modern Samurai, I agree. That's where I am at with it. But guys, you know, come on. I'm not going to have a go at you for saying that you don't want Tuchel or you think there's better out there. It's a conversation that I think we're going to be having in that last week of May. I really do. And we'll go from there, I think, with it. But we're just reading the headlines, we're talking and we're giving our opinions. Maybe another name comes into the hat that we didn't expect, and we'll discuss him then as well. The Ferocious, my only concern with Tuchel is that he rates Rashford. Yeah, we cannot look at one man's opinion of a player and then not bring him in for that reason. I know what you're saying. I know we hate a lot of these players right now for how they are. It's a difficult one. I get it. I do. I weigh up the pros and cons, and it has to be more cons. And for me, it has to be more pros. And for me, there's more pros. There is. Tuchel will not be afraid to drop Marcus Rashford, though. And he will demand power over all of these players. He won't come in and look at it and go, he's saying to me what game time he's playing. Nah, I don't think he will. Like, let's look at it this way, guys. Like, if Tuchel wins the Champions League, we might not be able to get hold of him. So look at it that way. If he goes out and does the miraculous and get that title, then we could be lucky to get Thomas Tuchel. I love Zidane, and I don't want the life sucked out of him, which seems to happen to everyone that comes to Manchester. So I don't want him anywhere near us. I think that's the same with ex-United players. It's like, I love you. Don't come and manage the club, please, because I don't want to fall out of love with you. Because that's what happens. It happens to everyone, doesn't it? Kane to United with Tuchel. Yes, please, says United Spotlights. Barbara's in the chat. You couldn't blame Erik Ten Hag for going back to his own country. No, you definitely couldn't. It is a safe haven, I would say, Babs. Definitely. But yeah, guys, we have run well into time there. I have other stuff to discuss, but we've got plenty of time with the evening show coming up as well. That did go on a little bit. I loved it. Loved the detail of it. Loved all of your input, guys. Loads of new members, loads of super chats as well. And we're just about to hit 200 likes as well on the show, guys. It's the perfect morning session to lead us into the rest of our day. Guys, also, don't forget, episode 2 of United Couple Podcast. Me and Kaz all out there, one-on-one. That is coming out later on this evening, 8 o'clock, episode 2, guys. Everything that's happening, going on right now. You will love it. If you haven't caught up with episode 1, go on to the description of this video. Right at the top, there is a link there for the channel and episode 1. Go and watch it. Give it a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you know. Get your notifications on for episode 2 dropping at 8 o'clock this evening, guys. But for now, that is us all finished. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you all later on. Double content for you guys. Again, like 6:30 live here on FUTV, and then United Couple episode 2 of the podcast out at 8 o'clock as well. Guys, it's been a mega one. Thank you so much. I'll see you all later on this evening.